How did you outfox your ex in family court? My ex thought he was so smart hiring the most expensive divorce attorney in the city. This shark who charged $800 an hour and had a reputation for destroying opposing parties. The guy looked like he stepped out of a corporate boardroom, all slicked back hair and a suit that probably cost more than my car. For weeks leading up to our custody hearing, my ex kept bragging about how his lawyer was going to wipe the floor with me and how I'd be lucky to get supervised visits. He even had the nerve to tell our mutual friends that I should just give up now because there was no way I could afford to fight back. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with a court-appointed attorney who looked fresh out of law school and had about 15 minutes to prep for my case. I was terrified. This guy had resources I couldn't even dream of, and his lawyer had already filed motion after motion, trying to make me look like an unfit mother. The morning of the hearing, my ex strutted into that courtroom like he owned the place. His attorney set up this elaborate presentation with charts and graphs, talking about financial stability and providing the optimal environment for the children. They painted me as this struggling single mom who couldn't even afford decent legal representation. But here's the thing. When his lawyer introduced himself to the court, I nearly fell out of my chair. It was Jake Morrison, my old college roommate from sophomore year. We'd lived together for 2 years, studied together, pulled all-nighters cramming for finals. More importantly, I'd let him copy my entire senior thesis when he was failing constitutional law. Jake didn't recognize me at first. I'd changed my last name when I got married, and it had been over a decade. But when the judge called a brief recess and I walked up to him, his face went completely white. Sarah? Sarah Chen from State? He whispered, looking around nervously. Hey Jake, I said quietly. Funny seeing you here. The rage I'd been suppressing for months suddenly hit me like a truck. Here was this guy who cheated his way through law school using my work, now making a fortune destroying families like mine. My hands were shaking with anger. He knew exactly what I was thinking. That thesis he'd copied, it was on family law and custody rights. He'd plagiarized it word for word, plus 3 other major assignments. If the state bar found out, his license would be gone. Look, he said, his voice cracking. This is really awkward. Jake, you owe me. I interrupted, ice cold. You know you do. His face went from white to green. I could see him calculating. His career, his reputation, everything built on stolen work. When we reconvened, something magical happened. Jake's entire strategy changed. Instead of attacking, he started pointing out inconsistencies in his own client's story. He accidentally submitted evidence showing my ex's gambling problem and missing child support payments. My ex's confidence cracked. I could see confusion in his eyes as his own lawyer dismantled his case, piece by piece. The guy who'd been so sure he was going to crush me was watching his investment turn into his nightmare. During cross-examination, Jake asked devastating questions. Isn't it true you've moved 4 times in 2 years? And can you explain these casino transactions? My ex got angry, face turning red as he realized what was happening. What the hell are you doing? He hissed at Jake, but Jake just shrugged and kept going. The beautiful part was watching my ex's arrogance completely backfire. Every lie he'd told, every nasty thing he'd said about me, Jake brought it all up. The man who thought he was untouchable was falling apart. My ex kept shooting furious looks at his $800 an hour attorney who was systematically destroying his credibility. By the end, Jake had basically argued my case for me. The judge awarded me full custody with supervised visitation only for my ex. As we left the courtroom, my ex was screaming at Jake about malpractice and demanding his money back. Jake caught up with me in the parking lot. We're even now, right? I smiled and said, we're even. Sometimes the universe has a funny way of settling old debts. My ex paid $15,000 for a lawyer who ended up working for me instead.